Just goes to show you, things can change. The people that you count on most are not always there.
But not with us. Not ever. Because you always said we're a part of each other, and we are. So nothing can ever change that. How can it?
Why did you come here tonight?
Because I wanted to be with Dusty.
No. You came here because you wanted to hurt me. And you did. You hurt me more than you could ever possibly hurt me. All right. You don't love him. And you never will. You know, I think you should really start being honest with yourself. Because you're not being honest here, Lily. It's all like some sort of... I don't know. But you will have destroyed us all by the time you realize what you have done. You're never gonna get me out of your thoughts any more than I'll get you out of mine. I'll always be there between you. Always.
I know he's not out there. Why do I hear him calling my name?
I don't think Mr. Tonio Reyes is going to be very happy with being brought in again.
Well, that's too bad. If he told us in the first place when he was down here about his offer to Lucinda to kill James Stenbeck, we might not be bringing him down again.
Maybe it just completely slipped his mind.
It may be.
I'll see you.
Yeah.
Margot, I hope my client will be free to leave pretty soon. It's almost 4 o'clock in the morning.
And really, I haven't got anything more that I could possibly tell you about James Stenbeck, although I'm sure Tonio Reyes must.
Well, you're free to go, and thank you for your cooperation.
You should go home and get a little rest, too.
I don't think that's in the cards, but thanks.
Oh, thank you.
Hello, Detective Hughes.
Margot Howell.
Hi, you still over at the Hugheses investigating Paul and Emily?
I just wanted to know if John is still there.
Yeah, why?
Because Paul and Emily just told me that when they left the house in Ruxton Hills, they saw John driving up the driveway.
Winner, As the World Turns. This portion brought to you today by new April Fresh Downy, now bursting with a new fluffy softness, and by Dawn, the dishwashing liquid that takes the grease out of your way.
It's been a long night. Let's clear out of here before Detective Franklin gets back to Tonio.
Yes, that's very interesting.
Some things to talk about.
Oh, well, come to bed and we'll talk.
I still can't understand why you told Tonio Reyes where James Stenbeck was hiding.
Yes, you can. I thought maybe Tony would go through with a threat to eliminate Stenbeck. Would that have been such a bad eventuality? One man, one bullet, clean kill. Paul would not have been caught in police crossfire.
Thank you very much, Al. I'll take care of it. John?
Yes.
Do you mind staying for a few minutes?
Oh, come on. It's a dawn.
It's all right, dear. I think I know what it's about. Why don't you run on home, okay? And I'll see you later.
All right.
Ambrose, will you make sure that Lucinda and Pam get home all right? Don't
Yeah,
get
sure.
for me, dear.
Right, away we go.
Talk to your aunt on the way.
I'll bring the car around.
Puts me in a very awkward position.
Really?
Let me guess why. You just found out that I was at the Ruxton Hills place the night when Stenbeck was killed, right?
Well,
I guess there's no point in holding anything out. It will all come out. Eventually.
Would you want to tell me what you were doing up there?
Okay, Paul, I think that's it. Listen, why don't you get some sleep? It's been a rough night.
Yeah, what about Emma?
Oh, we still have to talk.
Hal, try not to keep her up too late. She's had a rough night, too. Good night.
Night, Paul.
Good night, honey. Everything's gonna be fine.
Yeah.
Get some sleep.
You too.
You two guys seem to be pretty close.
We are. Paul and I have a lot in common.
How so?
First of all, we both grew up without having a father around. I always heard great things about my father, you know? He's supposed to be such a wonderful man. I always wanted to spend time with him. Paul was different because he always heard terrible things about his father. And all he wanted was to be old enough to get close to him to find out the truth for himself.
And he found out that all the terrible things he'd heard about his father were true.
Yes, he did. You're probably wondering why I stayed with James for so long after I knew the truth, right? When I came to Oakdale about a year ago, Hal, the story around town was the Tad Channing murder. And you were in love with a woman named Denise. She confessed to that murder. Did you stop loving her as soon as you found out the truth?
No.
Well, maybe you'll understand where Paul and I are coming from, loving James after everything he's done.
Emily, I'm not here to judge either one of you.
Well, I just hope you keep that in mind while you're questioning me, all right?
Why don't you just start telling me everything that happened from the time that James contacted you yesterday?
All right. After Paul and James left Lucinda's, they called me at the Fashions office where I was, and James told me where they were and where they planned on meeting me. I snuck out the back way because I didn't want the policeman stationed out front to see me.
When you left Fashions, Emily, were you carrying a gun?
Yes. Barbara showed me where she kept one in the office for protection.
But why? I mean, if you were so close to Stenbeck for so long, why did you feel that you needed a gun to protect yourself?
I don't know. I was just determined to make him leave Paul here with his mother.
And if it come to a showdown on that point, would you have used that gun, Emily?
Yes. I was prepared to do that.
Okay, so you left Fashions with a gun.
Yeah. You see, it was raining very hard. And the roads up to Ruxton Hills were very slippery, but I went as quickly as I possibly could because I knew that they were waiting for me. I guess if I knew what was about to happen, I wouldn't have been in such a hurry.
Holden? Holden, for crying out loud, it's the middle of the night. I hear your car tearing up. I hear banging around out here. Have you been drinking?
Holden, what is wrong?
Everything.
What, did you and Lily have a fight or something?
Lucinda told her everything before I had the chance.
Oh, Holden. I was afraid this was going to happen.
She knew what it was going to do to Lily. Didn't stop her for a minute, though. She just wanted to get to me. That's all. She knew it would.
I'm sorry. I mean, this is the worst thing that could have happened for you and Lily, but look, listen to me.
Look, she forgave me, and I know she's going to forgive you. I just know it.
No, it's not going to be that way for me.
It can't.
No, it's not. Because she's with Dusty now. Tonight, Lily cut out a part of us that had been tied up together. Cut it with a butcher knife. It's like I'm bleeding inside to death. And it won't stop. But she's gonna get hers. And so is Dusty. And so is everybody that gets caught up into it. And it's not gonna stop until everybody is dead from the pain.
Tonio. James never touched me. Lies. All lies. Oh, God, Tonio, no. No.
What are you doing here?
I followed you. I followed you because I love you, and I was so afraid this was gonna happen.
I had no choice, Meg. You gave me no choice but to avenge the dishonor you brought on my family name.
I was never unfaithful to you. Tonio, James lied to you because he wanted to hurt you. I swear nothing happened. Oh, God, what's gonna happen? You're gonna get arrested and sent to prison. Tonio, they could deport you. Nobody's gonna help us now. They've all been looking for a chance like this ever since you took over Craig's business.
Be quiet and listen to me, Meg.
Tonio, no, it's true. They're not gonna help us.
quiet.
God, what's gonna happen to us? I'm scared.
Meg,
I'm
be
so
quiet.
scared.
You were foolish enough to follow me here. Now you're a part of this. So we must get our stories straight.
Oh, Tonio, I had a horrible nightmare. We were in that house, and James, he was lying there, and he was laughing at us. Could that be? James?
I don't know. I'll go see. For God's sakes, pull yourself together.
Who is it? Detective Franklin. Sorry to disturb you this time of night, Mr. Reyes, but I have to ask you to come back to headquarters with me for further questioning on the Stenbeck case.
I went to meet James for one reason. I just wanted to make sure that Paul was safely brought back to Barbara.
And how did you think you were going to accomplish that?
Oh, hell, I don't know. I just figured I would talk James into it. Anyway, when I got there, James and Paul were waiting for me, just like James said. But the minute I had Paul alone, I told him to get in my car. I gave him my car keys. I said, drive to your mother's house and stay there. I had no idea Paul was going to sneak back into the house because he was afraid for me. I told James I would agree to go with him if he would leave Paul here.
How did he take that?
Not very well. He assumed that we were both going to go with him. He said that everything he'd been planning was for the two of us. And I guess, in his own sick way, he really believed that.
Did he ever go into detail about what these plans were?
I've built a whole new life for us, Emily. We'll live on my beautiful island, have millions in Swiss bank accounts. You'll never want for anything. I've built an empire for you and Paul, and for the child you're carrying. Our child.
Emily, did he ever tell you what these plans were?
No. He was vague. He said something about an island And a fresh start.
Sorry, I know this is hard for you.
You know what nobody seems to realize is that I've lost somebody who I really love. James was everything to me. He was my best friend. He was my lover. He was like a father to me. And now he's gone forever.
Al?
Oh, Barbara.
I'm sorry. I know you want to talk to me after you're done with Emily, but I am just exhausted.
Well, I'm sorry. I have to talk to you tonight. I've got to get this done. I've got to get back to the station.
All right.
Listen. While you're here, you can substantiate something for me. Emily said that you kept a gun in your office at Fashions.
Yes. Yes, it was exactly like the one I had at home.
And when did you get these?
Soon after I found out that James was back.
Gonna have to see that gun, Emily. I have to go to ballistics and run some tests on it.
I don't have it.
Where is it?
I have no idea. James took it from me at one point. I guess it's in the house somewhere.
Yeah, okay, Roy, I'll see you then. I'm sorry for the interruption. Now, let me see, where were we? Okay. You just overheard Lucinda on the phone telling Antonio Reyes that she thought that James Stenbeck was at the Ruxton Hills house. So, after she left, you got on the phone with me. We had a horrible connection. The phone got cut off and whatnot.
Right.
And then you got in the car and left, and you went up to the Ruxton Hills house.
Right.
I assume that you went up there because you figured Lucinda was on her way up there and you wanted to try and stop her.
No, not really.
John, why did you go up to the house?
To kill him.
Holden, now listen to me. Isn't there any way you could have misinterpreted what happened? She loves you, Holden. I'm sure she's just in shock. I mean, after hearing that you knew all along that she was adopted. It's natural that she would go to Dusty. They've been friends. They've been friends longer than she's known both of us.
All right, but you don't understand, all right? She let him make love to her because she knew what it would do. To us. To me. She knew it would destroy everything that we had.
Look at that. Holden, maybe it's Lily.
No, it's not Lily. I saw the lights go out in the carriage house. She was still there. She's with Dusty. In Dusty's arms with him. In his bed.
All right, you stay here. Wait.
Meg, what are you doing here?
I don't know what to do. The police came for Tonio. He had to go in for questioning. They're trying to pin James Stenbeck's murder on him.
James Stenbeck was murdered?
Yes, and no one will help him because everybody in this town hates him. I know who did it. I know who did it. Lucinda Dixon. She set it up so that Tonio will take the blame.
Calm down and tell me.
I'm going crazy.
After Paul and James were done talking, something in James changed. Something in him broke.
Did he and Paul argue?
No. From what Paul said, he told his father that he loved him and he didn't want him to go to prison. But he wanted nothing to do with his life anymore. And I think for the first time, James realized he was telling the truth. He was still crying after Paul left and he talked to me.
Were you in the room when this happened?
No, but I overheard everything. James called me into the room. He asked me if I really wanted the life he had planned for us, or if I was just there to persuade him to leave Paul with his mother. I told him if I had a choice that I would rather stay in Oakdale, make a new life for myself. God, there were tears in his eyes. He was so sad. I almost changed my mind. And then he turned to me and He held his arms out and he told me to take Paul and to leave and to be happy and never look back. So that's what we did. We left the house. We never looked back, and I suppose that's why we're alive right now.
You and Paul left the house together?
No. Not exactly. Paul wanted to say goodbye to his father, so I waited for him in the car. When he was done, Paul came out to the car, and we drove to Betsy's. We didn't speak the whole way there.
Do you think anything else that you should tell me, Emily? Anything that you remember?
No, I think that's all.
Okay. Thanks. I'll go get Barbara.
Oh, James.
Emily, you okay?
Yes, I'm all right.
I saw Hal in the living room. Has he finished questioning you?
Yes. I told him the story we agreed upon.
Did you tell him about the baby?
What?
I overheard you telling Dad that you're gonna have a baby. I didn't say anything to Hal. I was just checking to see if you did.
This portion of As the World Turns has been brought to you today by New Love's Deluxe, a change in diapers that will change your life. And by Era Plus, protein power to cut clean through. We'll continue with part 2 of As the World Turns in just a moment. And now part 2 of As the World Turns.
Paul, you have got to promise me, please, that you will never tell anyone what you overheard about me expecting.
I won't. I just needed to know in case Hal or somebody from the police station had asked me, and...
Oh, honey, what are you still doing up? It's so late.
I know, Mom. I know how you feel about everything that happened tonight. But he's still my father, and he's dead, and...
Barbara, I really have to speak with you. Emily, maybe you could go take care of him.
I'll take care of him. He'll be all right, Barbara.
Thanks.
I just can't understand how anyone can grieve for James, you know. But Paul loved the image of who he thought his father was. And I guess Emily loved him, too.
According to both of them, James broke down when he realized that neither of them was going to leave with them.
I would have had to have seen that to believe it. James was always so cold and hard with me. Well, I'll carry the memory of his cruel smile to my grave. I'm just grateful that Paul and Emily are okay. That James can't hurt anyone anymore. And that he will never threaten my child.
Barbara, before we get into what happened tonight, I think we better go back to this summer when Paul was supposed to have left for Camp Geneva. I think we should set the record straight from that point on.
I honestly believed Paul was going to camp. I didn't know otherwise until James showed up one night and told me that I would never see him again if I told anyone that he was back, or if I refused to do what he asked.
Paul had gone voluntarily?
Yeah. I know you think I should have told you the truth then, but you see, I don't have any choice. For months, I lied to you and to my family and everyone else about Paul being at camp and then at Hillsborough. Of all the people I lied to, it cost me most to lie to you.
Why?
Because I believed you were the one man that I could trust. The one man I could believe. And I still loved you.
Anyway, I pulled into the driveway of the Ruxton Hills house. And I remembered something that had happened a couple of months ago. Real estate agent had come to Lucinda, asked if she could put the house on the market, make a listing of it. Lucinda said, no. There's a real stink about the whole thing. And at the time, I couldn't figure out why. And then it suddenly dawned on me. Even then, she must have been in cahoots with Stenbeck. She must have been making the place available for him. Months ago, she never came to me. She never told me about it. She never asked for any help or anything. I guess I realized just how much trouble our marriage was in, how that trust had been ripped apart. And suddenly I thought, my marriage was much more important than my hatred of James Stenbeck. I looked at that house and I said, I know he's in there. And I know I can go in there and I can do something very stupid. Could change the rest of my life. I said no, I was going to go home instead. So just as I was about to leave, another car came down the driveway, came careening down the driveway, and it just shot right past me.
A car coming away from the house?
Yeah.
Well, did you see who was driving?
No, I didn't know it was too dark.
What about the make of the car?
I don't know what the make of the car was. It was the last thing on my mind, for crying out loud.
All right. Then what happened?
Put the car in reverse, I backed out of the driveway, and I went home.
That's it?
That's it. Think I'm lying?
No, I wasn't implying that you were lying. Although lots of people have been for months.
No kidding. Well, I'll tell you something, very honest, no lie. I don't give a damn if he died up there in the explosion or somebody killed him or what. I'd be glad that he's dead. He caused a lot of grief to a lot of people.
Yeah, I know. Well, forensics are checking over the remains of the skeleton, and we'll have a positive identification soon.
So you think he was murdered, or do you think he died in the explosion?
We don't know yet. Why don't you go home and sort things out with your wife, huh?
Easier said than done. You ought to know from your own experience, when the credibility and the trust is ripped apart, it's never the same.
Oh, God, it's gonna be light soon. Says gonna be getting up. As much as I hated working here, at least it exhausted me. I slept really well as soon as my head hit the pillow. I'm not sleeping so well, Iva. I haven't in a long time. Why not, Meg? I don't know, everything's so complicated at home. I can't seem to get anything straight. It just exhausts me. But not the kind of exhaustion that lets you sleep. The kind of exhaustion that keeps your mind running and racing and... Oh, God, I never knew nights could be so long.
So, these complications, they have to do with, Tonio?
Yeah, and no. I don't know. Tonio's a complicated man, but my feelings for him are really simple. I love him. I want to make him happy. And I really believe that if he could understand that I really loved him, that he'd relax and he'd open up to me. I know that you and the family think I made a big mistake marrying him, but I understand him. I understand him more than anybody else does. Imagine it, okay? Just imagine. He had a home and a family that he loves the same way we love this place and this farm. And a war came and took all that away and killed his family, and he had to leave. He came to this country as a stranger. And the only thing that he had to go back to feel at home with was Sierra. He wanted to make a life with her so much. And he did everything wrong and pushed her away. Can you understand that?
Yes, Meg, I can understand that, but
in a lot of ways, I know. He was jealous of Craig. Well, he wanted to beat Craig. I mean, think about it, Craig. Sierra loved Craig. Craig was successful while everything was still foreign to him. I don't know, Craig was able to make a life here, and he couldn't. And I think that's one of the reasons why he wanted to take Craig's company away from him. Just get a hold of it.
But Meg, okay, look, I can understand all that. But it's the way that he did it that people cannot forgive. He deceived
I know
everyone.
it wasn't right. Okay, I know that. But I can forgive him. See, I know what he went through because of Craig. All those insecurities. I mean, God, it's an insecurities that he won't even admit to me, let alone himself.
Meg, Meg, you want to tell me why you're really upset?
I'm afraid. I'm so afraid that Tonio killed James Stenbeck.
This is an outrage, being dragged down here at this hour of the night.
It's an inconvenience to everyone. If you won't mind, if you cooperate, everything will go nice and quickly.
I cooperated fully when I was here earlier tonight.
Looked over Detective Franklin's notes on what you told him, and you denied having any contact whatsoever with James Stenbeck. Would you care to change or qualify that statement in any way?
I've documented everything, Tonio, all our transactions, including payments you took from me, and not forgetting my affair with your wife. So one day soon, it will all come out.
Do you want to change your original statement, Mr. Reyes?
No, I have no reason to retract anything I said earlier.
Did you pay Lucinda Dixon a little visit today?
Yes.
While you were there, did you tell her that if she would tell you where James Stenbeck was, you'd go and kill him?
Unfortunately, yes, I did say that, but I was very upset and angry at the time.
About what?
I just received an anonymous phone call from someone trying to blackmail me. He said that he had proof, whoever he was, that I knew that Stenbeck was behind the original money of Giroux Corporations, of which I'm now a part. He said he would take this proof to the authorities unless I gave him a large sum of money and tell them that I knew all along that James Stenbeck was behind the dummy corporation and that I was one of his secret contacts here in Oakdale and did things like allowed him to use my apartment for his meetings, things of that sort.
Did you have any idea who this caller was?
No.
Was it James Stenbeck?
I thought of that, but if it was, he was disguising his voice.
So why did you go see Lucinda Dixon after you got this call?
Because I know of her relationship with James Stenbeck. I assumed she knew where he was. As I said, I wasn't really thinking very clearly, and I made that statement in the heat of the moment.
Did she call you later and tell you that she thought that James Stenbeck had been hiding out in the house that Steve Andropoulos built up in Ruxton Hills?
Yes. But by that time I had calmed down, and I realized it would be senseless to take the law into my own hands, especially since there was no way I could really be blackmailed. You see, I have nothing to hide.
Where were you when Lucinda Dixon called you?
I was at the executive club.
And you told me earlier tonight that you worked late and then you went right home to your wife.
Detective Franklin, like most men, I don't care to have my domestic problems become public knowledge. My wife and I had had a disagreement that evening, and I had intended to move out of the apartment and stay that night at the executive club. However, once I got there, I thought better of it.
After Lucinda Dixon told you that James Stenbeck was up at the Ruxton Hills house, did you go there?
No, I did not.
And what happened after you arrived at the house and you looked through the windows?
That's where I'm a little confused. I remember going up to the house and looking through the window and being terrified because I didn't see anyone. Yet I knew that James was there, and I thought that, well, maybe he was holding Paul and Emily captive. I didn't see them inside. And I was scared to go in because I thought if James or Nick Costello saw me, they'd kill me.
How did you know Costello was there?
I'd seen him. I'd gone to the back window, and I saw him going down a staircase which I assumed led to the basement. He had a gun.
And what did you do?
Well, it was pouring, and I was cold, and I was wet, and I found this little shed, a little tool shed on the property, and I went inside.
And then?
And then I prayed for the strength to do what I had come to do. Save Paul. I found a knife in there. It was a strange-looking knife with this curved blade, the kind of knife you use for cutting flooring or linoleum. I stuck it in my purse and I headed back to the house. I went to the back door, and it was unlocked. So I went inside.
What did you do after you entered the house?
Well, it was very dark. I had heard this pounding from below and a man yelling. And I figured I was in the kitchen, and I was able to somehow feel my way through the kitchen to this door. Went through the door, down what I assume was a hall, found another door, and I opened it. And that's when I saw James lying on the floor. There was a woman standing over him. I still think it was Lucinda. And I wanted to scream, and I couldn't. I just stood there. It was like being in a dream when you can't move and you can't scream. And then I think the pounding stopped. Then Lucinda screamed and ran out. And then there was a terrible explosion, and everything went black. And I blacked out, too, and I don't know how long I was out, but when I woke up, I was near the stairs. And that's when I saw James' body in flames. And I knew if I didn't get out of there, I'd die, too.
What about Paul?
Well, I didn't see Paul in there, so I assumed that he hadn't been in the house, and so I didn't think about it. I just wanted to get out. And that's all I remember until I was on the lawn with you and saw the house in flames.
Barbara, where'd you find the gun that you were carrying when you came out onto the lawn?
I have no idea. I don't remember.
Hi.
Hi.
Why are you smiling?
Because I just had this dream that I woke up and you were right there, and now I woke up and you're right here, so it's not a dream. Been awake long?
Off and on. Just can't stop thinking about all that's happened. Everything's changed so fast.
Lily, I know, but they're great changes, aren't they? I mean, I'm gonna make sure that you never get hurt again.
I'm not gonna be the only one who gets hurt. I know Pam cares about you a lot.
I know. Lily, I'm gonna speak to Pam immediately, and I'm going to be honest with her the way you were honest with Holden when you told him to leave last night.
Okay, I'll check with ballistics, and then I'll see what forensics has on Stenbeck's remains.
Good. Let's hope the finger points in one direction.
Well, it'll be a big improvement to what we've got now. So, yeah.
Oh,
How come you don't look like you've been up all night, huh?
Oh, come here. Oh, it's been one heck of a night, hasn't it?
Yeah, you could say that. Anything break since I talked to you?
No, nothing conclusive. Have you been at Kim's all this time?
No, I left there around 5 and then took a nice little drive up to Ruxton Hills just in time to catch the sunrise.
Why?
Barbara said she found a knife in a tool shed just outside the house, but it wasn't in the contents of her purse when I checked it at the hospital, so I went up there to see maybe if the crew found something in the ruins, but no luck. Oh, also, she has no memory of how she got that gun. Anything for ballistics?
No, we're always checking it out now.
How'd it go with Tonio?
Oh, he stuck to his story, you know. Didn't have any contact at all with James Stenbeck. I think he's lying.
Why?
I don't know, maybe it's exhaustion, I don't know. Maybe I'm just wishful thinking, but I'll tell you right now, I have a gut feeling that he's lying, that he's hiding something, you know? And I think he could have gotten up to that Ruxton Hills house and killed James Stenbeck before Lucinda got up there and found the body.
So, Meg went out to the farm. I was worried about her when she wasn't here when I got home from the police station last night.
Well, I'm not here to just talk to you about Meg.
No?
I wanted to ask you if that job you offered me was still available.
Holden, I'm glad you're interested, yes. What made you change your mind?
I want to work with you. I want to put Lucinda Dixon out of business. I want to destroy her. Wipe her out.
Really? Well, I think we could work together very effectively. You can start whenever you'd like. I do anticipate one problem, however.
What's that?
Well, working for me could cause some problems between you and Lily.
It's not a problem anymore, Tonio.
Hi.
Hi.
Here is your car, safe and sound and back in the driveway.
Thank you. You didn't really have to do that.
Okay. Where were you last night? I called and you didn't answer the phone, and then I thought it was off the hook or something.
I was right here. I didn't go anywhere.
Why didn't you answer?
Well, Pam, I need to talk to you about something, okay?
Well,
Okay.
can you wait? Because I'm going to make blueberry pancakes and you can tell me over.
I know.
Dusty, are there any...
This portion of As the World Turns has been brought to you by Oreo Cookies from Nabisco. Women's Fashions by Regina Porter. This is Dan Regin, inviting you to join us again Monday for the Emmy Award winner, As the World Turns.